Now let's think about sleep and understanding our sleep. Because when we think about that cognitive behavioral cycle of the thoughts and beliefs that we have, what that means is that what we think and believe about sleep has an impact on what we do. And so we can accidentally be creating vicious cycles when we don't have the full picture. So what's sleep for at a fundamental level? Well, it enables cellular restoration. So it's the chance for our body to restore, repair, kind of clean the house while after the course of our day. And there's two states. So we're in that rapid eye movement sleep, REM sleep. That's high brain activity. So that's when our body is sort of paralyzed to stop us acting out our dreams. And there's all sorts of, that's when we're processing our memories and we are making sense of the experiences and things that have happened to us. And then we've got these stages 1 to 4, which is the kind of deepening into sleep, which is that more deeply restorative sleep. And as you can see here, stage 4 is the deepest sleep. And we have these various cycles through the night. So 4 or 5 sleep cycles a night, averaging between 90 and 110 minutes. And the deep sleep, you can see on the chart here that the deep sleep, the stages 3 and 4, which is that really highly restorative sleep, that mostly happens in the first half of the night. So that's a really important thing to just note and be aware of, because it means that if you are getting those first few hours of sleep, whenever that happens for you, you are getting that deep restorative sleep. And this restorative sleep is what relates to the daytime tiredness if we're not getting this. And what's really interesting when they study this in the sleep labs, when they bring people into a sleep lab and they monitor what's their brain activity, their body activity, what they see is that over a number of nights, when they look at, when they disrupt people's sleep in different ways to measure what's going on, the body naturally adjusts. So if I haven't had enough deep sleep on a night, it will naturally take me to that deep sleep much more quickly, and it will keep me there for longer to make sure I'm restored. And likewise, if I haven't had enough of that restorative brain work, then my body will adjust. So there's this really kind of complex system at work where our body has its own intelligence and will look out for us. And that's, again, it's just something to start to become aware of. When we think in the context of how the scariness of, oh my gosh, I'm not getting enough sleep, actually your body will do what it needs to do. Now, the other thing, you can't quite see it on this chart, but it's actually really normal to wake between 1 and 3 times a night. And in fact, there's some evidence that at some points in our evolution, before we had, artificial lights, we might even have had 2 sleeps at night and kind of woken up and eaten and then gone back to sleep. So it's really normal and natural. Now, for most people, if there's no other things going on and there's no disruption, and they haven't got any kind of negative kind of patterns happening with their sleep, they wouldn't even notice that they've woken up, because they literally just roll back over and go back to sleep. And it doesn't register. Where it becomes a problem is when we wake up fully, and then we are not necessarily doing things that are supportive to help us get back to sleep. So maybe we start worrying, or we turn a light on, or we're on our phone. I think for a lot of us, we'd know not to do those things, but there can be things that we're doing when we have those wakings, or even just like, oh my God, I'm awake. And night sweats, needing to go for a wee. That was the thing that would plague my sleep. It's more likely to wake you up during that lighter sleep. So as we come into this light phase and we go into this slight awakenings, if I'm having a night sweat, it's more likely that's when I'm going to be waking up. And as I said, that night sweats and dealing with night sweats is something that we'll cover in the Sleep Solution program. But essentially, it's about how you manage that experience of the night sweat. But it's really important to know that that this pattern is normal, and different parts of our body are restoring at different times of the night. So we have a master circadian rhythm. So we've all heard probably of the circadian rhythm, which is our night and day sleep cycle. So daytime's for awake and nighttime's for asleep. Now that's our master clock. which is actually slightly more than 24 hours and gets reset every day by daylight hitting the back of our eyes in the morning. And sunset light in the back of eyes is helpful as well. And that basically controls the production of melatonin, which is the hormone which helps us to feel sleepy. Now, we have that master clock that's setting our body clock. And then we also have, for each of our organ systems, they have their own clock that runs off that master clock. So my liver will have a turn in the night where it's doing its thing, and my kidneys will, and so our body has this, this pattern. And so everything is happening as it should. The cleaning of the cells, the detoxing from whatever's going on all happens through the night. Has anybody got any questions about any of that? Okay. Somebody said, that's so good to know about nighttime waking. Yeah. And, sometimes for some people, just knowing some of this makes a huge difference. And knowing that, somebody said here, that's so good about the first half of the night because I wake really early. Yeah. It can take some of the anxiety away if we know that actually our body is getting what it needs.